Okay, so we are at the Ramah in Sif Zion. Not a lot to learn, not a lot to do to finish the sermon. Let's do it. Okay, so the Ramah kind of goes on a little bit of a different topic, having discussed the halacha of milk that falls onto a pot on the outside. And there are various different halachas and opinions, whether it's below the line, that is below the line of the stew, and thus falling on the outside of the pot, parallel to the stew or parallel to the empty area above the line of the stew. And the halacha when it's in a CHAZZARAH, when a person's in a bind. And the Rama first says v'hachi nog, in that he ratifies the custom to be lenient when the person's in a bind, because, as we noted, there's an opinion which says that the entire halacha doesn't begin, because there's an opinion, a strong opinion, there's Rishonim which say that there's no such thing as chanan when it comes to balua, that which is absorbed within a pot. Because the entire discussion was to what degree, and to what degree does the meat flavor absorbed in the pot become itself a source of prohibition, chanat nasa nevela. And there's an opinion which says that the whole thing doesn't exist. It's not nasa nevela, went by balua. And therefore, in a time of need, one can rely on that opinion. And Ramah ratifies that custom. That's essentially where we left off. So on that note, the Ramah then starts talking about other situations in which milk gets poured on or near or into a pot of meat. It becomes the halacha of irui, the halacha of pouring. Irui means pouring. So let's read the various different dinim. Zion. It's in the Haggadah, the Ramah of Zion. Right, the Haggadah begins with Hachinog, and the next words.
Second.
Sorry?
Second Haggadah. I think there's
In Zion, this is the first Haggadah.
That's the first Haggadah?
In Vav, there's two Haggahs. No, Vav, there's actually only one also. Hey, you're right. You had two Haggahs. No, Dalet, two Haggahs, whatever it was. Anyway, it's the first Haggadah in Zion. Yeah. V'im nishbach chalav, if milk poured, or shar isur, or any other prohibited item, non-kosher fat, non-kosher oil, roitach, that is scalding hot, agabe karka, and it falls onto the surface. Literally, karka means the ground. Doesn't need to be the ground, it can be the countertop for the same price, but onto the surface. And then they may do a love kedera, and then a pot of meat was put on top of that milk, that hot scalding milk that was poured out. So, and the pot is hot. So now the question is, this milk that's scalding hot, what surface is it on? If that which was spilled, this hot milk or the hot fat, is not on the fire, right? It's on the surface of the countertop. It's only a klisheni, right? The klirishon being the pot in which it got hot, and now it's poured out. It's klisheni. Therefore, hakadeda asura, the pot itself is prohibited, because halacha is klisheni is mavashal, but only kedei klipa, right? Even though, right, we have the other opinion that says that the klisheni does cause transfer, the marshal including, right? Remember this, we learned in Kufay that the marshal is of the view that klisheni does do absorption and extraction. So according to that view, the not just the pot itself would become prohibited, but even the stew inside of it would become prohibited, according to the marshal, which it seems like most are stringent to follow. But the Ramah is of the view, and the Machaber in Kufay, that klisheni is not mavashal. Therefore, the pot itself is prohibited, the below sauce, because it absorbs a little bit. But the stew, the food inside, mutter is permitted to tata gavar, because even if the top one is a klidushin, the status is defined by that which is on bottom. In this case, the milk that's poured out is on bottom. It's klisheni, and klisheni, according to this view, is only mavliya ksas, only gives off flavor a little bit while it's cooling down the top one. So only the surface layer of the pot would be prohibited. So you can't peel a pot, so you have to kosherize it. But the stew itself would be kosher. But again, the marshal is of the view that klisheni does cause bishul, and we would be stringent in this case to say that you need 60 in the pot in the stew itself against the milk and bottom, otherwise it'd all be forbidden.
It says over here that the shach says
Yeah.
that if the pot is boiling, in other words, the pot that was put on top of this milk that was poured onto the surface, if that was boiling, also partly being on the fire, everything becomes forbidden if there isn't.
That's taking the marshal's view. It's taking the marshal's view, yes. That's even further because the pot. Yes, correct.
Does the shach not agree that tatal gavar?
Tata gavar, yes, but first of all, there's the view of the marshal which says that klisheni is mavashal, and B, because the top is so hot, it doesn't have the capacity. Tata gavar means that the one on bottom
overrules
and
that's klisheni.
And either heat up the one on top or cool down the one on top. In the case here where they're both hot, just the bottom one happens to be klisheni, it's hard to imagine that the hot klisheni is cooling down the hot klisheni.
Yeah. Also,
hard to imagine that.
It's also so hot, right? Because you have to it's like 45. If it's actually cooking, it's like.
If they're both very hot,
you know what I'm saying?
it's hard. It's very hard to imagine, right?
Yeah.
You see, the shot begins. Kostafar marshal. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But he's saying still Erev Shabbos. He still would be the shach. Sorry, the Taz. The Taz would be.
The Taz. 1 second. The shach nothing. Yeah. The Taz is. Oh yeah. Give him a sec. Which Taz? Which number?
So this is before, but he says the Chaf Gimel.
Because the numbers might not match.
Chav Gimel is in the previous din. That's been again. That's the previous din. Where it falls on the outside of the pot. That's not our din here.
Okay.
That's the previous din. Okay. Now let's continue. So now, so the first case was liquid that's extracted from the pot, so it has a din of klisheni, and the machlek is the Rama and the marshal brought in the shach. Then there's another din, which is v'kiluach min hakadeira tachas, a stream that goes from a hot scalding pot, shahalach al kadeira tenenes, that now travels in whatever way to a cold pot. Now, the question becomes: is the stream unbroken or continuous? Sorry, is it unbroken or broken? Is it continuous? There's no break in the stream, and whilst it's touching the kosher cold pot, it's also touching the non-kosher hot source, or is the stream broken? Now, if the stream is broken from the hot pot before it gets to the cold, till it gets till it gets to the cold kosher pot, klisheni. So then it's the same law as klisheni, which again you're stuck with the machlekes of the Ramah and the marshal. Yeah.
The marshal would say that it could still potentially.
Marshal, I would say,
up.
why is it different than falling on the thing when you put it on top? It's the same thing. Not that it transfers up.
They're only disagreeing
But because
on the top itself.
No, 1 second. The top. 1 second. Let's review this again.
Both say the pot is now.
1 second. It would depend. Actually, in the marshal, I wouldn't necessarily say go all the way through, because in this case, the klisheni is coming from on top. In the previous case, the klisheni was on bottom and hot, and that's why the marshal would be restringent. Here, it's a klisheni that's on bottom cold, and something coming on top of it that's hot.
Yeah.
So if it broke, so the cold on the bottom is still overpowering the klisheni, even if you have the klisheni is mavashal. That would only be if the klisheni is in the bottom. So I don't think the marshal would be stringent here. I'm sorry, but it's not correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. What there's a Taz 26. What does it say about Taz 26? Yeah.
It's not.
So you don't give a Taz 26?
No.
They I don't know. They give a lot of.
No,
they give-
fair.
Sorry?
You plus 27.
No, not 26?
26 is small.
Yeah, what is it saying 26, yeah?
Here, the India's Darti, there's a Nami Davka Shane Hamaka Mahu Reteach.
Oh,
So it's not juicy.
not hot.
When
Hot.
he
It's hot. That's hot.
when he has sodas. So he's saying these balls. He's saying it's not doesn't have like a stream and it doesn't.
Otherwise, it would be a cliche.
The looking have like a collision. Okay. So he's saying he's being
If
stringent.
the surface is hot, meaning
Yeah.
the pot that it's going to. I think. So he's saying. Not true?
Oh yeah, it's right. Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah. And he had sodas, but
Not sure I understand. If you want to say
If
that the pot is cold, right? And if you want to say the pot is the bottom part,
yeah.
now what's the difference now if it's klisheni or klirishe?
Okay, because let's see. If the stream didn't fall, have a ki'iru. Now you're pouring directly out of a cliche before it loses its clearation. Sorry.
clearation, yeah.
It hasn't lost its clearation status while it's touching the cold pot. And therefore, I'd say nenes, miyad. The cold pot becomes prohibited right away because it's coming in contact. In mayad tzilavis boy, bikiluach, hanagibak data. If the stream is hot, and if it's still hot and it still retains clearation, it's going to be prohibited.
Because they're next to each other, right?
That's right.
They're not relative.
No, it's touching. Yeah.
Touching.
Yeah. Because the stream
The stream is unbroken.
continuous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's constant. The water's constantly being coming from a cleavation. So it's going to be constantly have a level of heat.
So in the case of in the first case, I'm going to look in the let's be through the go here after we see that remind us of the halacha of the boil. Okay, continue. But the actual food inside the pot, even in this case where the unbroken stream is permitted according to the Rama. They need to because pouring out of a klirishon, even though it still has status of klirishon, it only prohibits a surface layer, which is in this case the pot.
Yeah.
But if the pot onto which it was poured itself is hot, the heat klirishon, and it itself is a klirishon. The koshkin is more so if the pot that is taking the stream
It's on the fire.
is on the fire itself, even if that which is being poured to it is completely cold, everything is prohibited. The tatagova, because the one below is overpowering and it's hot. And it's cold going into hot. The kula usher, everything is forbidden. Commissions bar let's Siman Aleph, as we looked before in Siman Aleph.
Right, that makes sense.
Right.
Now, to the best of my knowledge, this is even true if the stream comes
Sideways.
on the side, not just on the top itself.
You said that's
We still consider the pot itself to be on the bottom. And that's the shikol of Chiddush.
Right. My issue with that was if you had a pot that was bigger than the element, so the water is touching, it's not actually on the fire.
I still think so. We spoke about this, and I still believe the answer is that it's considered the one on the bottom, and it would be icer.
Yeah. Because we never got an answer like that.
I'm quite sure the answer is we discussed it. No, we didn't do an answer.
We never came to a
We'll have a look again.
final conclusion.
Okay. Okay, so let's look at the halacha before we go to the next comment, because the next comment goes back to the original din. So it's Tzadik Beis, Sif Zion, and the Ramah's commentary. Yeah, so number one is that even if the thing comes from the side, the pot itself is still considered to be below. Number two, even though they're of the view that klisheni doesn't prohibit, but nonetheless, if the stream is unbroken, even though it's rolling from the original pot on the surface till it gets to the thing, even so it's rolling on the surface, but nonetheless it's still considered unbroken. And even though the surface on which it's rolling is cold,
Yeah.
right? Because the logic is each drop that's touching the other doesn't let the other one settle down because it's constantly moving as a stream. So even though it's streaming on a cold surface, it still retains Kli status, even though it's rolling on the surface of the counter. So if the milk is being poured onto the counter and from there it's going to the pot, if it's an uninterrupted stream, it's considered direct kiluach, and the pot over here is considered bottom, and everything becomes usher.
Which
Even
makes
though
sense.
it's cold and it's under.
Which makes sense if it's a short stream. If it's a long stream, it wouldn't make as much sense. But
If it's a long stream, it's very difficult to imagine it's unbroken.
broken, yeah, I know. That's
Right?
true too.
Yeah.
But it never talks about if it goes over the fire. Does it-
Sorry,
does it-
but if it's broken, if the stream breaks and it's rolling on a cold ground, it's cliche and it's cold.
right.
It's done.
And that would
That's
be,
only it. But if it's Yatzlavis boy, then we would take the Marshal's stringency that cliche does cause cooking. But if it's not Yatzlavis boy, there's nothing to be worried about.
all of this only in regards to the top shell, because in any case, the pot is a problem.
No, it's
The
not
pot
going
can
to
be
No.
prohibited
The
any-
pot is
the pot
hold on a
can be
second.
prohibited anyway.
Would the pot be prohibited anyway? Yeah,
Right, so all of this is
Yeah.
a discussion.
it's discussion about the food. The Kedera itself, the Kedera itself.
Because it's gonna be
If it's very, very cold,
No,
If it's very cold-
fine. If the pot is cold and the stream coming to them is cliche, it could be cold.
no. If the pot is hot
The pot,
and the stream comes to it on the side is cold,
no, the pot is cold.
the pot is
The
hot.
pot is cold.
Here the pot's hot
Here the
This-
pot's hot, but even if the pot's cold
and the stream is hot,
and the stream is hot,
then it would be then the pot would be a problem. Yeah,
right,
that was the first then.
No.
Right.
But
That
it's
was the first
but that's the cliche. When I was talking about cliche, then there wouldn't be. Would there still be a problem with the
The
pot?
Marshals, we rule it the Marshal. Rama would say,
No.
but even the Rama says it goes
Everybody
to a certain
says-
flare.
oh,
The Marshal says that even
everybody
the thing inside is prohibited. Even the food inside is prohibited according to the Marshal.
It's they clip on you, can't.
Even if
nothing
it's
you
cold
can
and
do.
If the cliche is hot,
no, the pot is cold and the stream is cliche, it's broke already.
so if it's hot, right, then the Marshal would say that everything is
Everything's a problem.
yeah.
Everybody agrees that the pot is the problem. Not everybody agrees on the top shell. Kedera, everyone's.
Yeah, that's Kedei Klipa. He says Kedei Klipa. If the pot,
means
let's see, if the pot is hot, which case we're talking about?
Want to know for both cases?
Okay, if the pot is hot and you have a cold stream
Yeah.
and it's if it's unbroken, oh, sorry,
Cold stream doesn't matter.
no, cold stream doesn't matter if it's broken or not. And the stream is hot and still connected,
Then the food's gone.
right?
Then the food's a problem.
Then the food's a problem.
Then the food's a problem according to the Marshal, not according to the Rama. According to the Marshal, right? The Rama didn't say anything, right? Let's give you a Kedei to Neseres. Sorry. Sorry. Oh no. Which one? I got confused in the case.
Yeah.
Which one did you say? The pot's hot or not?
Which one you said now? The
Well, you're talking about the pot's hot.
Okay, the pot's hot. Then Rama would say that what would Rama say? The pot has problem. The food inside is okay. Marshal would say everything is everything's prohibited
This is for a clean
because the stream is from a cliche.
Yeah.
No. Even if the stream is a cliche, even if it broke, because the stream is hot and because the pot is hot.
So it makes no difference when the pot's hot. It makes no difference according to both opinions whether it's a cleavation or a cliche of a stream.
Correct.
Okay. Now it only makes
Now,
now
if
the pot is
but
cold.
if the sorry,
Now if the pot is cold, now there would be a difference between a cleavation
now
and
the
a
pot
cliche.
is.
I'm
now,
what's the point of saying
Hold on a second.
it makes no difference?
Sorry,
I'm just curious why I go into so much detail about cleavation and cliche if it makes no difference.
it makes a difference to you.
That's what I'm trying to say. Where does it make a difference?
According to whom? Oh, at all.
At all. Like
Let's see.
where does it come out where it makes a difference? Because we're going into a lot of detail about this, and I'm just curious if literally the dean is the same, whether it's a cleavation or a cliche, then why go into so much detail about this? That's where I'm confused.
If meaning according to the Ramah, let's go with the Ramah, yeah. According to the Ramah, what's the difference in Ramah if the stream is broken or not? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
hot stream.
Hot stream. Because
Yeah.
we said if the stream's not broken, it's a Kli Rishon. If it's broken, it's a Kli Sheni. But if it makes no difference, if it makes no difference, then why are we talking about this? You could just make a quick line saying they're the same. There has to be some type of difference. That's I just don't know. I just don't want to. I want to understand.
I think it's like
It
this.
says if it.
It's a complicated game.
You got it out. You figured it out.
That's a good question. Hold on a second. That's a very good question. Let's read it again slowly from the Ramah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's stop mixing the Marshal for a second. Let's read just the Ramah. Yeah. If hot milk or any other prohibition was poured onto the ground, onto the surface, and they put a hot pot on top of it.
Yeah.
If that which is poured is not connected to the fire, it's only a cliche. The pot is prohibited. The blue excess get absorbed a little bit, but the rest of the stew is kosher. Because over once, the one below overpowers, and it's a cliche. Okay. Now, so that was no stream. Sorry?
That was a cold pot.
No, it wasn't.
That was a
hot pot.
Hot pot. Because it's like
The hot pot
Cold.
put onto a cliche.
yeah.
Because this is a cliche because it's milk poured onto the surface.
To the
Okay.
counter,
Right? And the milk was hot.
Okay.
Everything is hot.
and the
The
pot-
difference is
pot-
that which is on bottom is cliche.
Right.
Okay. But everything was hot. Now, now you have a stream going from a hot pot.
Okay.
That went to a cold pot, whether it's on the side or on top, it doesn't matter. So now the recipient on bottom is cold,
It's hot. Okay.
right? The recipient at the bottom is cold, and it's receiving from a hot, clear rishon.
Yeah.
So now, if the stream was broken, from the giving hot pot, the stream was broken. Before it reached the cold. Now it's also cliche.
The one we're pouring from is a cliche.
Sorry,
The one we're pouring, the one
we're pouring is a cliche. So it's
Hot.
1 second. So it's a cliche
Yeah.
going onto a cold thing.
Yeah.
Right, and because of that, what would be the halacha?
The pot's not a problem.
Right.
Because next he's gonna say the opposite.
It seems like
Pot's gonna-
no. 1 second. At this point, nothing is. Even the pot is kosher in this case.
Right.
Yeah.
Even the pot is kosher in this case. So you have there's hot liquid
Right.
touching a cold pot, but because that hot liquid was broken from the stream, it's cliche-ing, and therefore even the pot is kosher.
Yes. So this is our difference.
There's our difference.
This is our difference.
Even the pot is kosher. Now, if it didn't break, so now it's a hot stream connected to a hot source going to a cold pot. It's considered being poured out of a kli rishon. And now the cold one
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
absorbing a little bit. If the stream is hot,
Yeah.
because now it's because the iroi kli rishon is treated like a hot klisheni,
Yes.
whereas a hot klisheni itself is not enough to affect a cold something.
Yeah. Because the cold will cool it down.
So,
Same here, it doesn't cool it
Even
down.
though the klisheni is, even though the hot klisheni is on bottom.
So we just did 3 cases. First one is pot is hot.
Both are
water,
hot.
No. First one is pot is hot. Water is cool. It goes on it.
No. Both are hot in the first case. Both are hot in the first case.
Yeah.
A boiling milk.
They're
Right.
both hot in the first case. But because the hot on bottom is klisheni, according to Ramah, it's only the pot the stew is got fine. Case number 2.
No, but I'm saying the first case is
Right. That's
Both were hot.
That's the first case.
Yes, both were hot.
Yeah.
You pour-
Because the hot below is klisheni,
boiling
'cause
milk
it's-
onto the counter.
because the hot below is klisheni, it only, according to Ramah, only goes surface layer, only goes to the pot.
Okay.
Case 2 is where the pot is cold, but it's receiving a hot stream.
Right.
If that hot stream it receives is broken, so it's
Then
klisheni.
everything is good.
Now hot klisheni interacting with a cold below doesn't do anything.
Correct.
Everything is kosher. According to the Ramah.
Right.
According to the Marshal, it would prohibit the pot.
Let's just go through only the Ramah.
Ramah. Then everything's fine
So everything's fine.
because it's cold on bottom,
Perfect.
Yeah.
and what's receiving is a klisheni heat.
But doesn't the Marshal have the same problem with the food inside?
But
as well?
we're not gonna.
I'll get to the Marshal in a second. I'll tell you why the Marshal is also.
Ramah.
Yeah, so Ramah. So the cold on bottom, is
Right.
receiving a hot stream. The hot stream is broken, so it's a
Right.
cliche heat, and therefore everything is fine because the bottom is cold overpowering.
Right.
Now, if the stream is unbroken, so now it causes cliche level, and only the surface layer gets
of the
problem,
pot is bad.
and everything inside okay. That's Ramah. Now Marshal.
Okay.
Okay, Marshal in the first case, he says cliche does cause full cooking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he would say everything's for
So in the first case,
the hot pot.
in the first case, let's go through all three cases.
Yes.
Case number one is
Hot pot.
hot pot onto a hot cliche onto a cliche.
Yes.
Unless you have 60 against it, everything is problematic, including stew.
Okay.
Case one. Case two, you have cold pot,
Cliche.
Hot stream.
And a cliche.
hot stream,
It's broken.
broken stream,
So it's cliche.
then
Yeah.
surface layer,
Of the
Or
pot.
Marshal.
the pot Marshal.
And the food's
Where
good.
the Ramah said the pot is fine,
Yeah.
the Marshal is going to say the pot.
On everything. Okay.
Correct.
And then
The
the
pot is going to be a problem.
So the
Yeah,
last
let's
one-
make sure. Yes. But yes, correct. But in the last case, where it's unbroken stream,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
Then
Cold pot, unbroken stream.
everything inside is problematic.
So cold pot, unbroken clean return stream.
Everything's
inside.
problematic according to Ramah.
Okay.
So the Marshal.
Marshal.
So Marshal lifts everything
One level.
one level up from Ramah.
Perfect. That makes it so much clearer.
Clear?
Right.
There's our answer.
Those three cases, I'm super clear on.
Clear?
Clear. It didn't make sense that everything was the same. It made no sense.
Yeah, so let's go through again one by one and go to Ramah Marshal. Hot cliche on bottom, collation on top, Ramah just the pot, Marshal everything.
Yes.
Cold pot, hot stream,
That's a cliche.
broken stream. Let's do more strict one. Unbroken stream,
Right.
Ramah
Just
only pot, Marshal
everything.
everything.
Broken
Cold.
stream.
Broken stream, broken hot stream,
Ramah-
Ramah everything's fine.
Yeah.
Marshal just the
Pot.
pot. And the luck is going to be that we are stringent unless you're in a bind and then you rely on the Ramah.
Okay.
In the last case.
These three cases are now super clear.
Very good.
I have a stupid question.
No such thing, but ask your question.
Marshal.
Sorry?
Is the Marshal in the text here?
He's quoted by the Shach and the Taz frequently. All right.
Okay, now we have the fourth.
Now let's go. That's very good. Now let's go to the next. Let's go.
The fourth case. However, the pot is hot.
Okay, now this goes back. This goes back to the original din of milk that falls on the outside of a pot. And we made it.
Before that.
Yes.
However, the pot is hot. Cleavage is on top of the fire. That even if a stream is cold, everything becomes forbidden.
Oh, so you're right.
This
Yes.
This is the fourth case.
Oh, yes, correct. I'm sorry. But if the pot is hot, and it is a
Yeah.
and certainly if it's on the fire, even if the stream is cold, because this is the bottom and the bottom is hot, I call usher, everything's forbidden.
Yeah.
Because the bottom one overpowers. This is like cold going into a hot pot. Everything is prohibited.
Yeah.
And this goes back to
this was the good
91, where cold milk falls into
Yes.
hot meat and everything becomes prohibited.
The fourth case is the super easy one.
Yes. Ooh, I almost forgot about that. All right.
Okay. No,
My phone just told me about an event that I have to go to. So let's.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
okay.
Yeah, okay. The rest will be fairly straightforward.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
So now it's a drop that falls on
Yes.
the stove.
Now we'll go back to the original case where the pot drop falls on the outside of the pot, and the question was, did it fall parallel to where the stew is or not? Says there, I'm a tip on the fellows. A drop of milk that falls onto the cover of the pot, because the pot is closed and there's steam moving all the flavor around on the inside, so everything's considered below the surface line. And this we learned is even if it falls onto the side, if the cover is on it. Then it gets the law of as if it fell parallel to the stew, and you need 60 in the stew against a drop of milk. And therefore, that's only if the pot itself starts to boil. And because then the steam is going up and down a lot, and the steam goes up to the cover, coming down from the cover, from there to the stew, and therefore the entire pot's considered one big mixture. And no matter where on the pot it falls, it's considered as if it fell parallel to the stew, and you need 60 in the stew against the drop of milk, because it's covered and the steam is moving all around.
All right, so this is only in the case where the pot is boiling, because only if it's boiling is steam.
So he says only
If it's
correct.
not at boiling level, if it's not at the steam coming
No,
out,
it's only
you
at.
can just wipe it off and you'll be fine.
Say it again.
I'm saying if let's say you're cooking a hot chicken soup, okay?
Yeah.
It's not at the temperature boiling, so steam is not coming out of this pot, and the lid's on it.
Yeah.
But it's super hot, but the steam's not coming out of it, so you know it's not at that level of
Then
boiling.
you have to apply the dinner we mentioned earlier.
Then if the water draws on the top, can you just wipe it off?
Then
How about just take off the?
no, you have to take the cover, but the cover itself might be considered
But once
hanan.
you take off the cover, there will be steam
That's fine.
coming out.
So let the steam come out and you take the pot off. If it didn't steam yet and it's on the cover, take the cover off, and your cover might be a problem. If you don't have 60 in the entire area, you might have to kosherize that because you don't know how much of it became hanan, right?
Right.
Unlike as if it dropped on the side, unlike that.
No,
Not unlike that.
What?
Not unlike that. But when it comes to dropping on the side, you can't cut the pot in half. Maybe you could if you want to. But
No, so
it's the same laws.
when it fell on before it was boiling and it fell on the top, you could remove the top. Unlike as if it fell on the side,
Where you can't cut the pot in half.
cut it away,
Right.
and then you'd have to consider that
All the
there's
previous-
some
Yeah,
absorption over
that-
there,
correct.
and there's a problem
Correct,
even though
correct,
it wasn't
correct.
boiling yet.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are not
So
the
then
same
once
things.
The,
If it's boiling,
principle's the same, but you
Correct.
can't treat it the same
But
because you
it
can't
would
cut
be,
a pot in half.
it would be boiling, whether it fell on the side or fell on
Yeah.
the top, it would be the same case.
Yeah.
Because it's cooking but not boiling, if it fell on the top, remove the top. But if it
Yes.
fell on the side, you have the problem that we discussed.
Discussed in the previous time. Yes. Very clear.
So
Yeah.
good, perfect. So we spoke about that. If it's not boiling, remove the top. Top is bound to become. You have to kosherize the top. Everything's good.
Everything else is fine.
Next,
Correct.
now it is boiling. So then when you lift the top, when it is boiling, the steam's gonna grab it and bring it inside.
Yeah. And then if you have 60
So then
to the ratio of drop milk, everything's fine.
Your thing's fine.
Everything's fine.
But the lid is still bad. The lid is still hanan, you're saying.
The lid, you still have to kosherize the lid, just like we learned from the Ramah before. You have to kosherize the pot, right? The Ramah learned that even if it follows mamish parallel to the stew, you have to kosherize the pot, right? The Ramah should pour it out right away
Right.
because the pot itself is
No
prohibited.
matter
Right?
what, whenever something falls on a pot, the pot is finished.
You're correct.
If it's hot. If it's
Kosherize
not,
it, yeah? Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're on halach to steam. Machvas shel chalav, a pan of milk, shenosted b'kira tachas kedei shabbos, that was put into a cooking device, on top of which there is a pot of meat, and it's open. It looked like think of like a hearth with a fire inside, and you can cook inside next to the fire, and you can cook on top where the heat goes up. So you have a pot of meat on top and milk on the inside, a pan on the inside. But an oven doesn't necessarily cause the same source of heat as a stove on top of it.
Right.
It's an oven on top of which there is a stove surface area.
It's a kiln.
Yeah, it's a surface area that can cook from the same heat that's inside the oven.
Right.
Not like our stoves, which are detached, unrelated to the oven.
So like imagine you made a campfire and you put a grill on the bottom, put something there, and then you
It's not almost
put
like that,
hanging
dude.
around.
I have a stove.
Just think of a huge pot. Think of an earthenware pottery. Just think of an earthenware pot, massive earthenware pot, and you put a fire inside. You can cook something inside next to the fire, and you can put something on the surface later on and cook. That's what this is. Yeah. So now, we start that the steam from the milk will go up to the pot on top of it and absorb in it and prohibit it.
How likely is this to ever happen nowadays, where you cook both two things at the same time? Like
All the time inside people's ovens.
I have
I accidentally put this. I cooked sourdough and I had my chicken in there. What do I do?
I have a stove.
million sourdough plus plates.
Yeah, exactly.
But this talk about milk. How often is it that you'll have milk and meat cooking together?
My cleaning lady heated up the vegetables for tonight in the milk pan and put it into my fleshik oven. And I used it yesterday for macaroni. Questions like that.
I have a stove that has a
Within 24 hours, I used it. Yesterday morning, I made. This morning, we made pasta for my kids. Sorry.
it has an exhaust onto one of the elements. So I don't know. One time I was cooking in the oven, and I had bread just on the dough, and it was cooking the dough. It was actually making the dough.
Okay.
So it could happen in real life.
It's exhaust directly onto the steam.
Yeah, exhaust into the element on the stove.
Interesting. Okay, Hagar, Rama. If there was milk in the pan, that's when it travels upward, meaning not just a pot that's milk. It has to have actual milk, right? To the question about the macaroni that we made this morning.
You're fine. Because technically,
If it was cleaned
it's
before
milk pot, and you have
it was cleaned before it was used. Yeah.
Realistically, you wouldn't have your macaroni pot with cooking vegetables in it if it wasn't clean. If it had all the residue
Macaroni
on
and
it.
Depends on how much you pay your clean lady.
Cheese. Macaroni or
Macaroni and cheese, yeah.
Macaroni.
Macaroni and cheese. If it was cleaned out before, then it might not be an issue. Okay. As imaya chalab
Wait a
machmas, yeah,
second, if it's the steam came off the macaroni and cheese, it would be any different than the milk?
no different.
No different.
No, we're talking
She's
about
saying-
pot that was
She's using this example.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Okay, so imaya chalab machmas, if it was actual milk, and then has the law of as if the steam is treated like milk itself.
Uh-huh.
And you need 60 in the pot of meat against the entire amount of milk in the pot,
Yes.
in the pan below. And therefore, now conditions, qualifications. All of this is only applicable if the
It's not covered.
pan is uncovered, and the steam is steadily going up from the food below itself to the steam to the pot above. And therefore, the Gammairi, it's also another qualification. This is only applicable, Shukarov Kokach, that the pan and the pot are close enough, Shayat Salas Bezeya, that the steam itself was hot enough to make the hand recoil. The Makam Shnagab Kadeda at the point when it touches the pot above. But if the steam has cooled down already, which it happens very quickly, if it's very close, the steam will not be that hot.
Yeah.
Hakol, everything's fine.
Oh,
And therefore, Tolan Basile Yavish Kadedas, but you still have to wipe it down, by the way. Because the steam even if the steam cools down, it leaves little droplets.
Yeah.
So you gotta wipe that off, even though it's not gonna be absorbed
Right.
above. Yeah. Therefore, Tolan Basile Yavish Kadedas Shocholov, you can hang meat to let it dry above milk pots. But you don't care about the steam that goes up, because by the time it gets there, it's already cold, it's nothing. And especially if, as well, likewise, therefore, if the pan below is covered, everything's fine. It's just like the law is, which we'll learn later, but in two pots that are touching each other, they do not prohibit each other with touching, because flavors cannot transfer from one pot to another without some sort of liquid between them, without some sort of food between them. So how much more so the steam is not going to escape one pot and go to the other pot when they're both closed, even if one is closed. Nonetheless, in the first instance, be careful about this. Don't to begin with put two closed pots inside, lest something break through, etc. Double wrapping, we are more lenient. Tests. Finally. Ner shel chalav. Chalev. Also, a candle made of liquefied non-kosher fats. And that liquefied drops a kli onto a pot, onto a vessel. You only have to scrape it off. But if the chel is congealed and it's hot, and a drop falls on it, then it requires actual kosherizing. And the reason is because because it's considered a solid, when it drops down, it's considered like an unbroken stream, even though technically it got broken. But because it wasn't liquefied, it's like a gush, davar gush, something that's solid, doesn't lose its status when it leaves. Right, you know, just a davar gush, a solid thing doesn't become cliche when it moves from plate to plate. So because this started as a solid, when it drops out, it's like a solid dropped out, and therefore it's considered like an unbroken stream, and therefore it would prohibit the vessel that it dropped onto, and thus would require hagala. And this concludes our chazara. Hatzlacha on your test, which you'll God willing get today.
Again, what's
The first drop, which came out of a liquid,
Yeah.
so it's considered like a broken stream.
Right. Oh, and if it keeps on
But
dropping,
if it comes from a solid, then it's considered like an unbroken stream. Because the halacha by solid is that when solid transfers from one vessel to another, it doesn't lose its original status. So because it came from a solid, it's treated like a solid.
So you can't just scrape it off. You actually
You can't scrape it off. You have to kosherize the pot below, the vessel below.
So it's difference basically.
No, he's saying it's a question is if it came from a liquefied or came from a solid. It was a solid
Beeswax
block.
was solid that melted.
It was
That's fine. You're saying the beeswax.
no, it's comparing it to beeswax.
Yeah.
If it was liquefied chalev,
you're
then when
burning a candle, right?
it's
Oh, you're
candle doesn't mean like we have a whole
Oil versus wax. You're saying.
a bowl that holds oil in it and has a wick. In halachic terminology, is called ner.
I see.
Is a candle. That's considered
I
ner.
see.
I don't know if the English word for it is ner, but it's called ner.
Okay.
So if it's a liquefied chalev, then when it drops out, it's a broken stream.
Yeah.
Loses its ability. But if it's a solid glob, like our candles,
Yeah.
and then a piece falls off.
Mhm.
So then it's not considered a liquid that fell off.
I see.
It's a davar gush that fell off.
I-
Solid.
And thus, it retains its original level of heat.
Depending on the nature
And thus-
of what you call the candle.
Correct. That's right. That's right. In English, it doesn't translate. because
One was a liquid and the other one is a solid.
Yeah. People learn Mishnayos and they get confused all the time. What are we talking? We're talking about ner. Ner means the physical bowl that holds the oil. It's called ner.
Right. There's a wick
No, but
floating in
it's,
it.
no,
Correct.
but it's
There's a wick
saying
floating in it.
like
Yeah.
a fully melted hot forbidden fat, so it's all liquid,
Yeah.
and a drop falls off.
Yeah.
That's the issue. That's a big issue.
What?
Taste
Reverse.
inside the utensil must be
Reverse.
disgorged through immersion. It says, however, already fully melted hot forbidden fats from which a drop fell onto utensil, the taste inside the
No.
utensil.
Motav means that it was.
He's saying in the first case.
No, the
thing
first
is
case was
not-
a solid. The first case came from a solid. It came from a wax.
It's all the way around.
It says a candle made of forbidden fat. Which is
Oh, you're right. You're right. All the way around.
the other
When
way
it came from a
around.
solid, it's lenient.
Yeah.
When it came from a liquid, it's hot.
yeah.
Why?
Forbidden fat is crafted like a butyrate essential.
Why?
If your drop fell into a utensil, there's no need for drastic.
Exactly.
It's the other way around. I'm sorry.
The
You're
other way
right.
around. That's why I was
It's the other way around. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that?
Again,
It's saying when it comes from a solid,
Let's
you have,
see.
we have a candle, a wax
Right.
solid candle,
yes,
and a drop falls off the candle,
it's fine.
it's okay. But if you have a liquid and a drop falls out of your liquid onto your utensil,
Right.
that's a problem.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah, exact opposite.
The exact opposite.
Oh, I see. So that's the other way around. Yeah, yeah. So because it's liquid, therefore it's heated by the fire itself, it's considered unbroken stream.
Okay.
Because the liquid itself is heated by the flame. But when it's solid, it wasn't mamish heated by the flame, and therefore it's lenient, more lenient. I got it exactly backwards.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense. I'm just saying,
Gotta
I read the
backward.
text and you
Yeah.
were saying,
I'm sorry, I got it exactly backwards. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you for the
Okay.
correction.
Okay.
Okay, now wonderful day. Have the test, which God willing, we'll get later
Later
today. It should be Taka Freilich and Hanukkah for all you.
Okay.
It's many right now. It's not a Freilich and Hanukkah.
No.
Daughter, my granddaughter, Cheryl Frails and son.
Yeah.
Where
Freilich and Lebanon.
Frails and Thomas.
Yeah.